Hi everyone, and it's the Wednesday class again. And look, we've got Basti in a tent
Good morning, everyone.
with incredible internet connection. There we go. You see, you never quite know where Basti's going to turn up on the Wednesday class when he does the chat. You could do the class from there, Basti. There's plenty of room.
There's probably enough room here.
There is enough room. Yeah, maybe you could do it one time. You've got a wood burner behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, who needs anything else but a tent with internet connection and a wood burner? That's it. Okay. Good morning, everyone. And great to see lots of familiar names. Oh, Japanese in Tuckmore Park. Simonetta. Hi there, Simonetta. Rossa, Liz, Gillian, Lynn, Chris, Mary, Barbara, Bex. Oh, Bex is back on again. Susan. And Jeanette. Simonetta again. Eduardo, Joel. Okay, great. It's lovely to see you all coming into the class. We've got to get on with the exercises today because we've got to leave enough time for Cat's Kitchen, and it's the last instalment of Cat's Kitchen. It's the autumn one. We've been around all the 5 elements and we're really excited because we're nearly completed an entire year of element-based exercise classes. Isn't that absolutely incredible? That is incredible. Okay, so let's get straight on. I'm just going to ask you, hi Catherine. Hi Tina from Finland. Okay, hi everyone. Okay, so look, I'm going to ask you the question we asked you right back in the beginning. How you're coping. I just want to find out, just check in with you all and just see whether you're coping. How are you coping generally in terms of stress? Are you coping well, okay, neutral, feeling stressed, or very stressed? Okay, we'll just get an idea of how you're doing as a group. Okay, well done for the 50% of you that are feeling pretty much okay, and we're going to make sure that the rest of you, the rest of the group, we look after you, and you're going to feel a lot better at the end of this hour. We've got Cat's Kitchen coming up, about 22, so we've got 40 minutes of exercises this morning, and I thought we'd do a special on the spine because the spine is such an important part of the energy system. So we're going to do a few extra little things for the spine to get the spine working, get ourselves aligned and everything. Okay, but first, before we do that, let's do our body scan. And we're going to focus the scan in on the spine a little bit more this time. Then we'll do the 3 burner scan and then we'll get straight on with the exercises. Okay, so here we go. I've got my trusty pad and paper and I'm going to do my body scan and then check in. Okay, so let's just stand up, relax. We're going to shake out a little bit. I'm going to scan down through our body. And paying particular attention to the spine. So if there's any holding or feeling of weakness anywhere in the cervical vertebrae as you scan down through your head and neck. Okay, got that. And then we're going to scan down through our shoulders, down through our hands, into our fingers. And then we're going to scan through this part of the body. As we scan down, obviously tune into the whole upper burner, the chest and everything. But also just check out, see if there's any tension or holding in the thoracic spine. I'm going to scan down again, all the way down. You might want to just close your eyes to go internally here. Go down all the way down, through into the lower back and this area here. And then the hips, knees, ankles and feet. Okay, I'm just going to close my eyes and do that for real. Just scan down. Woohoo, okay. And then we're going to turn that into a picture. And just figure out any areas that you'd like to work on. I'm just going to do my whole body scan now. Okay, very good. So that gives us an overview. I'm going to put a few little bits in where I felt I could do with some release on my spine there. Okay, good. Okay, excellent. So now we're going to do the 3 burner scan. I'm going to start off with the lower burner, which is this area here, down below the navel, right the way through, and right into the sacrum and sacroiliac joint, right the way through here. So just close your eyes for a second and tune into that area there. Can you just get an idea of what that feels like? And then we're going to go up into the upper burner, that's this middle burner, sorry, that's this width here from the diaphragm around to the just above the navel and around the lower thoracic part of the spine. That's this area here. And there's lots of acupuncture points along the back that relate to the digestive system in the lower thoracic there. So just check out, see what that feels. Okay. And then we go into the upper burner, which is this area here, which is above the diaphragm. Let's hold this whole area here. And again, tuning into the spine. So this is the upper thoracic here. Okay, so we're going to close our eyes and just compare all of those three burners. Okay, and I'm going to run the burner poll in a minute. We're just going to find out which burner you'd like to work on most today. It's a bit of a, for me, it's a bit like last week. It's a bit of a difficult decision there, okay? But I'm going to go for just one out of those three. So I'm going to do my drawing of my three burners. And just to remind you that we can draw the three burners. It's a really good idea to check in once a week to see what's happening. And ideally what you want is the lower burner to feel like kind of nice and strong, and the middle burner to be open and relaxed, and the upper burner like a mist, so kind of cool and open again. And what we don't really want is any sort of heat or obstruction or extreme weakness in any of the burners. So if you found any of that, then we better do something about it in the next 40 minutes before Cat's Kitchen. Okay, good. So let me run the burner poll and let's see which burner would you like to work on. Here we go. Let's see. We've had a bit of a run of lower and middle burner the last few weeks. So let's just see whether that's still running, that's still the case. And it is. Look, the middle burner takes the lead today. The lower burner is a little bit back from last week from what I remember. So we better make sure that those middle burners are balanced out as much as we can. Okay, excellent. So before, without further ado, let's get on with the exercises. I have to keep an eye on the time because I want to leave enough time for Cat's Kitchen before we finish up. Okay, so first of all, we're going to stand feet shoulder width apart, tuning into our spine. So what I think we should do is start off with the three burners, and we use the spine as a way of connecting up between heaven and earth, between all the three burners. I'll show you how you can do that with some simple exercises. Okay, now before we get onto the middle burner, which is the favorite burner of the week, we need to make sure that we stabilize the lower burner. And we're going to do that by doing some doing and some guided imagery exercises up the channels. But before we do that, let's make sure we shake out any tension that we have in our body before we start. So we're going to start off, and let's start off with the middle burner, people, this week, because that's the favorite burner. So we're going to start off actually around this area here, and what we're going to do is we're going to release the diaphragm. So if you focus in on this area here, we'll just show you, if you just feel underneath the ribs, this area should feel nice and relaxed and free. And it's one of the areas that often gets tense when we get stressed. You get this diaphragm jamming up and you get the middle burner obstructed, okay? We don't like that. Okay, so let's see if we can do something about it. And what we're going to do to start with is just literally shaking up and down. And we're bringing our focus into this diaphragm area. And the diaphragm actually delineates the lungs from the abdominal area. So what we're going to do is we're going to shake a little bit, and you'll get a movement, a gentle movement in the abdominal organs. And what that does is it basically massages the diaphragm from underneath, okay? So it literally just gently presses in from underneath, just shaking it, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go from the other end, from the upper burner end. We're going to do some nice deep breathing. So we're going to breathe in. We're going to try and release this area as we breathe in. Okay, and then breathe out and shake that area. You got it? So you're keeping our focus in this area of breathing in. Okay, breathing out and shaking that area. So we've got the diaphragm moving with the breath and the internal organs kind of jiggling up and down and just gently massaging it from underneath. Okay, let's do that a few more times. Really nice feeling. So we're going to breathe in Breathe out. And shake the whole torso as we breathe out. Very good. Okay, excellent. So let's just do it a couple more times. We'll get that middle burner starting to chill out really early on in the session today. So here we go. Breathing in. Breathing out. Excellent. One more time. Breathing in. Okay, brilliant. Now keep the shaking going, and now scan through your body. Remember your whole body scan, and just shake out any superficial tension that we've got anywhere in the muscles or in the fascia by just shaking out. And we're going to go right down onto the feet. Okay, very good. So now let's just stretch the spine out to start with. We're going to do a very simple spine stretch. All we're going to do is just stand feet shoulder width apart. I'm going sideways on so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to breathe in, bring our arms up. And then breathe out. Just gently stretch back, and we're lifting the head up, stretching the spine out. Very good. Very, very easy. Breathing in, stretching up towards the sky, and breathing out. And then we slowly float down as if we're floating down through water. And as we do that, we allow the spine to open up and relax until we're just hanging really nice and easily. And this is a really good chance for us to scan through our spine, work internally, and just release any areas of tension that we've got anywhere in the spine. Okay, very good. We're going to breathe in and breathe out, lifting up and back. Breathing in, breathing out, and floating down. So we're just floating down. Imagine you're floating down through water. As we go down, the water supports us, and we let go. We let go of that any tension in the spine. Very good. Okay, one more. Breathing in. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out, floating down. Floating down. Okay, lovely. And then what we do is just slowly come up, and we're going to pull ourselves up from that golden thread from the top of our head until we're floating, the head's floating up nicely. And look what we've got now. We've got a bit of freedom in the spine, and we've got a nicely jiggled and released middle burner. Really good start. Okay, but now if we check in to see how we're connecting with the earth and with the floor, that could do with some work, couldn't it? We've got the middle burner already activated and the spine starting to open up. So let's go straight for kidney 1 and really get that lower burner energized, and then we'll go back up and release the middle burner even more. Okay, so I'm going to get my chair. My preferred method of doing kidney 1 now is to sit in the chair rather than sit on the floor and change the camera angle. So let's get that kidney 1 really activated. Okay, I'm going to get the socks off. And remember, kidney 1 is 1/3 of the distance down the midline of the foot, so it's right there. We take this midline, and we want to really energize that, and we'll feel the difference immediately when we stand up after we've done it. Okay, if you want to be a bit more sophisticated about it, we can hold kidney 3, which is this source point of the kidney meridian, that's just behind the ankle. We can hold that with our thumb, and that opens up the channel. This stretch as well opens up the kidney meridian stretch, if you've got that ability to just open that out. So we're doing lots of things all at once here. And now we can use some visualization. Imagine you're sending energy in through the sole of your feet, and it's going up through our legs into our lower burner. See if you can feel that connection. Okay, and we're going to press in. Very good. Okay, and then put my sock on. It's a little bit cold this morning in Norwich, a little bit cool. I've got the heaters on, but it's a bit cool. So get the other foot out, sock, and do the same thing. So opening the stretch up. This is a kidney meridian stretch. Holding kidney 3 with the source point of my thumb around the ankle, and then off we go. Lots of stimulation for kidney 1. Okay, I'm visualizing, I'm relaxing the hip, relaxing the knee where kidney 10 is. If you remember, I'm opening up the ankle to get that channel really opened up, and that will help the energy go all the way up from kidney 1 into the lower burner, and we'll feel the difference when we stand up. I'm quite sure. So let's see what happens. Give it a bit more of a stretch, I think, don't you? So we're going to stretch in. If you want to get really more dramatic about it, you can stretch like this, stretch out the lower leg. And in fact, if you pull the foot back slightly, you're going to start opening up the bladder channel, which is the paired channel. So you can do all kinds of extra things here. Opening up the bladder channel, massaging kidney 1, opening up the liver channel on the front of the foot here, and the other yang channels that go down into the foot. All round cool thing to do. It's all going to help a lot, especially when we start getting up to connecting the lower burner. Wow, tingly feet. When we start connecting the lower burner to the middle burner. So here we go. Let's see what's happened now. Okay, so remember we had the spine opened up and the middle burner released with the jiggling. So now let's see what happens. Whoa, what a difference. Can you feel that? A lot more emphasis on the feet, and you can almost start to feel the legs starting to open out and activate the lower burner. This is an awesome thing to do, really good, whichever burner you want to work on. So let's kind of reinforce that by rubbing our hands together. And now there's a big moment, because what we do is we connect to the dantian, which is the lower dantian, the energy source point of the body, with the feet. And once we've got that, we've got a really good connection into the lower burner. So let's place our hands there, feet shoulder width apart, open up that sole of the feet, feel that amazing connection down into the earth, keep the hips relaxed. Okay, and now we're going to breathe in down into the lower dantian. So we're going to breathe in, try and feel this moving outwards, shoulders relaxed, egg under the armpit, hold the breath. Okay, feel kidney 1, feel it tingling away down there. Okay, and then breathe out. Keep the energy from the breath down in the lower dantian. Excellent. Okay, let's just do more of those. Breathing in. Okay, keeping the shoulders relaxed, head floating up, kidney 1 open, breathing out. Excellent. Breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, let's just do a little bit of activation of the lower dantian by circling. Nice and light pressure, keeping the knees and the hips open and keeping that kidney 1 as open as we can. In fact, you can visualize that kidney 1 going down into the center of the earth and connecting us like a kind of root down into the earth. Excellent. Keep that egg under the armpit. Wow. Okay, really good. Okay, now if you've got the flexibility in your shoulders to be able to do this, then we can stimulate bladder 23. That's the U point of the kidney meridian, a really good point for lower back. So again, if you've got lower back weakness or tension, then this is the point of choice. Really good idea to work it like this. And we can actually work down like this into the sacroiliac joint. The kidney channel runs down here into the sacroiliac joint. If you feel this flat bone, you'll feel like a joint either side of it. And just rubbing down here, getting that really nice and warm from here is a really good idea to strengthen the lower back. Okay, awesome. Okay, very good. A little bit of a shake. Okay, wow, what a great start. And that's a really good solid foundation we've got now down with the earth. Kidney 1 is humming away. We've got the lower burner activated. We've already jiggled the middle burner, so it shouldn't take much to get this as free as possible. And we've got 2 main things that affect the middle burner. We've got anxiety, which is more to do with the stomach, which is on the front of the legs, and we've got more like frustration and irritation, which is more to do with the liver, and that's more to do with gallbladder and the liver meridian. So let's see which one has the biggest effect on your middle burner, and maybe you can figure out which meridian you most need to work. So let's tune in again to the middle burner here. Let's just see if there's any residual tension or obstruction there around the diaphragm and around this whole area here. That's all around the upper part of the abdomen here, just feeling that. Okay, so now let's do some going on the channels and let's just see what happens. So we're going to go from the stomach down the stomach channel, which is just on the outside of the abdominal muscles here. This is the stomach channel. It's one of the main middle burner channels. So we're going to go down into the stomach channel, which is on the outside front of the legs, all the way down to the feet. Okay, now as we're doing that, we're just tuning into here and we're seeing if there's any favorite places that release this area here. And then we're going to come up the spleen channel, onto the abdomen, and then down outside again, and up the inside. Yay, okay, and then down the outside again, and up the inside, up in front of the legs. I'll just give you a bit of a close up there, so it's along with this muscle here, and then down below the knees. We've got sump 36, a famous point there, and then up the inside of the legs. Okay, I'm just going to brush them off, and we're going to check in again. Okay, so let's see what's happening. Okay, nice. I'm going to check here. Whoa, all right. So if you've got a big change there, it's probably going to be anxiety affecting the stomach channel. That's the main thing that's happening in middle burner. But it might be the liver and gallbladder. So let's try that. And if you remember, that's this twisting action. This is really, really effective for opening up liver and gallbladder related obstructions in the middle burner. So let's anchor those kidney ones down, get that head floating up and twisting. And as we do it, we focus in on that middle burner here, okay? Very good. Okay, we can look in the direction of the turn, and we're tapping as we go. Very good. Okay, how about a little bit more of a jiggle? Shaking out. And now let's go straight into the liver gallbladder meridian doing. So we start here. This is around liver 13. This is a really important point for the digestion. We go up here just below the nipple, just around here, around the center of the chest here. This is where the liver channel runs. And if you've got obstruction in the liver channel, quite often it gets into the lungs and into the intercostal spaces around the lungs, and it kind of gives you kind of like a feeling of like a vice around here. That's a really classic liver stagnation symptom. So if you've got middle burner as your favorite burner, you feel kind of blocked around here, doesn't really feel like the lungs, it's probably the liver channel obstructing up into this. We get a lot of that in the Shiatsu clinic, and we've got lots of techniques that we use to press these points and move and work between the intercostal spaces and stuff like that. And if you've ever had that come in here, you probably remember those treatments where it releases all of this whole area here. So let's try and do it ourselves by tapping all around here, going back down to liver 13 by this floating rib. And then we're going to go down around onto gallbladder 30. That's this big point here right in the hips. And then we're going to go down the outside of the legs. This is the gallbladder channel. All the way down the outside of the legs, down to the feet and up the inside of the legs. This time right on the inside of the legs, just behind this big muscle here, this adductor muscle. That's the liver channel. We go back up here, we come back up to here again, and then go down again. Okay. And we go up again. Here we go. Very good. Okay, let's check in. Let's check in and see what's happened. A bit of a shake. Okay, now check this area. Whoa, all right, I know the answer to my question. Okay, I've got way more release with the liver and gallbladder, so that's going to be my favorite meridian for releasing any middle burner issues I've got. So you can see, you can tell, you can kind of diagnose and work what obstructions you're getting in the channels by the effect they have when you do them. So what have we done so far? Well, we've got kidney 1 nicely anchored on the body. We've opened up the spine with a few stretches and exercises. We've done a lot of work already on the middle burner, so that's going to feel nice and open already. So now we're left with the upper burner, so let's get some stretches in. Let's do this stretch. This is very topical because this is the lung stretch. We're going to breathe in, we're going to breathe out. Okay, and the lungs are adjusting at this time of year. It's the time of the metal element, the autumn. It's kind of time of letting go, getting ready for the winter. And it's quite natural to feel that kind of melancholy feeling in the autumn, and that's related to the lungs in Chinese medicine. So we're going to breathe in. And the opposite is this kind of positivity, a feeling of positivity and being able to release, let go of old structures and move on to new ones. We all need quite a lot of that at this time of year. So let's, let's encourage that by working the lung and large intestine channels. And we're going to start right here in lung 1, okay, right around this area here. Lung 1 is just down from lung 2, which is right up against the scapula. So basically what you do is you get this crease here at the front of the shoulder, you go up to the underneath the clavicle, which is the collarbone here, and it's just down from there is lung 1. Okay, so we're just going to tap there. And we're going to go down into the thumb. And then, starting from next week, if you remember last week, point of the week was lung 11. Next week, we're going to start here and we're going to do the very last channel all the way up this way. And this is the large intestine channel that goes up into the head. And we'll be doing finishing off our last finishing stretch of this entire year of meridian cycles next week. I think we've got about 4 or 5 weeks left. And we'll be going up this channel here. There's some very famous points that you've probably heard of along this channel, and we'll be working them in the next few weeks. So getting us ready for the transition from autumn into winter. Okay, very good. Okay, and the other side. We might make a bit of sound to get that open. And we go down onto the thumb, and then we go back. Okay, so it's down to the thumb, and then it's up this side, the yang side of the body, the outside of the body, up towards the shoulder. There we go. Okay, nice. Okay, brushing off. One more time. Got to do it one more time, I think. Okay. Okay, very good. So that's our lung channel and large intestine channel activated. So now we just need to do the pericardium channel. Again, this is the stretch for the pericardium, breathing in and breathing out, going back, stretching towards middle finger, breathing out. Okay, now what does that feel like? You'll feel a kind of tension and obstruction there if you get stressed. That affects the pericardium channel. Characteristics are stiffness across the upper part of the chest here. Okay, so it's always a good idea to keep that free, keeps the emotional connections freed up, and it's really good for any kind of anxiety and things like that. So we're going to go across here. This is where the pericardium channel runs. Our pericardium channel is only going to run down this way into the hand, and then back up the trapezius channel, which is up the outside of the body, and then up the shoulders. Okay, so we run that 3 times. Very good. Okay, doing so great in the morning. It's a really good morning exercise system because it activates the qi and the blood in the channels and just basically wakes you up, doesn't it? Breathing out and rushing out. Yes, lovely. Okay, and the other side. Just getting that all that released here in the upper chest. And down and round. Excellent. Okay, very good. Let's do it one more time. Pericardium. And back up the triple heater channel. Okay, good. Let's check in, shall we? So I'm going to give a little bit more shake, and let's see what we've got. Wow, look at that. We've got a lovely feeling of connection still with kidney 1. Keep that open and energized. Lower burner, nice and stable. And I don't know about you, but my middle burner is zinging away with all these different shakings and doing that we've done for that. So, and the upper burner, nice and kind of open and tingly down the hands because of the yang and yin channels in the arms. Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's just do some work on clearing those yang channels in the head, and then we just do one exercise that's really useful for integrating the whole spine. We use a yoga exercise for that. So let's start off with the head. We're going to keep the whole body in view here. I'm going to work down through the head, tapping over the top of the head. We're going to go down onto the back of the neck. I'll give you a bit of a close-up if you like. So tapping around the bladder channel here and squeezing the bladder channel. Very good. Now we go to the sides of the head. Okay, so I'm tapping across the sides of the head and going back into this. This is the gallbladder channel. Tapping in here. Or squeezing. Very good. And now we can do a whole face routine. I think it's a really good idea to do this. This is upper sinuses related to the stomach and spleen channel. In fact, the whole front of the head is related to the stomach and spleen channel. So I'm going to tap around here. Rub our hands together. Press into the eyes, gently into the eyes, relaxing the eyes. There we go. Okay, great. Pulling around the ears. Very good. And here's a really nice point. We'll end up on this. I think this will be the last point of our entire 5-element cycle. Large intestine 20, which is this point here. And we can squeeze around the cheekbones like this. And relax and press around the jaw. Very good. Okay, and then just squeezing down this FCM muscle here, this muscle on the front of the neck. Really good idea just to squeeze down there. Absolutely great. Okay. How about that? Just brushing off any areas of tension that you might still have lingering in your face and neck. Just give it a quick squeeze and then that'll be all the yang channels that start on the head that go down through there. We've really got to release them. Okay, now while we're sitting down or kneeling down or on the floor, why don't we use the cow-cat exercise, which is a yoga exercise, to just release and open out the back. And here's a kind of internal energetic way of doing it. We're just going to go into a crawl position. And what we do is we imagine the spine extending out through the top of our head and through the sacrum out as far as we can. Okay, we're going to tune into the whole spine, and we're going to use that extension to get a sense of all the movement in the spine all the way down. So we're scanning through the spine, noticing if there's anywhere that needs to release, And then what we do is we breathe in, and we bring our back up towards the ceiling like this, and tune in all the way down. Notice any areas where your back feels a bit blocked or stiff. Focus on that area, and then as we breathe out, we're going to stretch and open that area out. And it's not a case of compressing it on the stretch. We're stretching out this way and this way, so we're elongating the spine as we do it, okay? So what you don't want to do is kind of compress it and compress it. We're extending it out like this, extending out, breathing in, okay, breathing out. And as you breathe out, we imagine the top of our head going that way and our sacrum going that way, and that will give an extension on the spine, which will help it open up and release. Oh wow, that's terrific. Okay, let's do that a couple more times, breathing in. Okay, again, tuning in, finding any places that need some work, and breathing out. And stretching into them, extending the head and the sacrum that way and that way to provide space in the spine. Wow, that's just so brilliant. Okay, let's just do one more. Wow, what a terrific stretch. Absolutely great. Okay, so let's just shake out a bit and check in and see how we're doing. Okay, standing. We've got kidney 1 still zinging. Okay, nice feeling in the lower hara. Wow, look at that middle burner. We've done a real number on that today. Can you feel that? Certainly for me, it's really opened it up a lot. We've got the middle burner nice and open, and the upper burner nice and relaxed. The head and jaw relaxed from all the face work, and the spine hopefully now really opening up from that cow-cat exercise. And don't forget not to compress the spine in and out as you go in and out, but extend it out as we go backwards and forwards. We get that nice feeling all the way down the spine. If we concentrate on the base of the cranium here, on bladder 20, let the head float up, and then just scan all the way down the spine into the sacrum. What a lovely feeling. What a lovely feeling that is. Excellent. Okay, so we've just got a couple of minutes before I've got to put on Cat's Kitchen. I want to give plenty of time for that. So let's finish off by doing some really nice breathing, Tai Chi type breathing exercises where we can bring it all together, okay, with relaxation. So the head floats up, egg under the armpit. Okay, feel that nice feeling in the spine that we've got from the cow-cat exercise. Just keeping that spine really relaxed, sacrum sinking down, knees open, kidney 1 anchoring us to the ground. Very good. Okay, so we're going to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, okay, breathe out. Okay, tuning into the head floating up, we're going to lower down, and then as we go up, open up kidney 1 and press up from the earth. So that gives you that yin connection with the earth, nice and substantial. So we've got that floating feeling from the connection with the heavens, and we've got that earth connection through kidney 1. Okay, and that's it. That's the balance between heaven and earth. Let's just do a bit more on that, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Very good. Breathing in, one more, and breathing out. Okay, brilliant. Well, that's definitely set ourselves up for another week, and we'll have to see which burner we get next week. After that, I hope your middle burner is going to be really open for the rest of the week. Okay, so here we go. We've got plenty of time now to watch Cat's Kitchen. And as I say, this is the 5th and final installment of the 5 elements. And I have no idea what she's got in store for us, but I'm sure it'll be really interesting anyway. Cat's Kitchen has been a feature we've done over the last year. And what she's done is she's put together some recipes in her own kitchen. She's recorded it all on her own iPhone, believe it or not. edited it together as a little mini feature for us. So we've had all kinds of recipes that fit the seasons all through the year, and this one is for the autumn, for the lung and large intestine. So we'll have to see literally what she's cooking up in Kat's kitchen this week. So here we go. Let's see what we've got in store. And I'm going to take myself off the stage first so we don't get any echoes or any horrible things happening. So there might be a slight pause before the video starts. So here we go.
Hello and welcome to another of my Kat's kitchen, in my kitchen at home, and we have come pretty much full circle. We started in the winter element, working with a yummy miso soup, and I thought we'd start with an unusual kind of soup for our autumn time to bring us into a warm, cosy but energy boosting soup for us, ready for the winter. In terms of it being unusual, is that I've never cooked this before, so I found a recipe online and I've tweaked it a little bit to make it work with the Chinese food energetics that's going to be really great to help the lung and large intestine meridians, and they're the two that are connected with the metal element. And I'm also choosing to cook with some seasonal veg. The other thing that's related to this element is the emotion is connected to it is grief. So letting go, grieving, and the energy kind of draws inwards. I imagine this kind of tree when it sheds its leaves, the leaves fall and shed, so letting go, they go into the ground to give nutrients for later, and all the tree's energy tends to draw inwards, ready for storing in the winter. On this sad subject of grief, I do have to say I'm terribly sorry, but my dearest Pokey Rabbit is no longer with us, and I've placed him in a gorgeous spot in the garden, so he will not star in this show today. So this soup I'm going to show you how to cook is a milky broth cooked normally with artichoke and cauliflower and the herb thyme. Sadly, I couldn't get any artichokes, mainly because back in March the ground was too cold, and I've been speaking to a few people growing them, and they're actually a little bit late this year, but if you can get your hands on them to try this recipe out with some artichoke, that would be great, because it's an amazing food. Very, very good for your large intestine. It's packed with vitamins, and there's a mineral in there that basically looks after the bacteria in your gut. It also helps clear the large intestine out. That's the other nickname for it, is the fartichoke. So you know the reason why it's called that. However, I couldn't find any because they're not quite out the ground yet. So today I've gone for some parsnips. So this is kind of my artichoke substitute. I've gone for a parsnip and turnip. So that's my go-to for that. I did find a cauliflower and some fresh thyme here as well. So the thing that we need to help our lung and large intestine channel food-wise is traditionally white foods like celery, onion, cauliflower, kohlrabi, pear, what else? Cabbage. They traditionally have been seen to be protective of the lung. And if there's any dryness in this area, like dry cough or dry throat, or also the skin, because the skin in Chinese medicine is also connected to the lung and large intestine. So it's also about the border, our borders and boundaries to the outside world of us, as well as what's going on in the inside. So if we have any of this kind of dryness, we need a little bit more moisture put inside the body, such as, and we can do that with foods like spinach, barley, millet, what else have we got? Seaweed, almonds, sesame seeds and things like that. So I just want to run through the amazing things that are packed inside, just a couple of the ingredients today. I won't rattle on about the artichoke since I don't have any. So the cauliflower and thyme. Thyme is amazing. So here's some fresh thyme, and it's full of copper, fibre and iron, and a thing called magnesium. I hope I've said that correctly. Basically it helps our blood to clot. So when we have a cut, we want the blood to clot to form a scab. It's also really good at properties like disinfectant, so it's very good at clearing any bugs or bacteria around the lung or throat area as well. It's also a mood booster, which I found out really recently. So the therapeutic active substance called, I've written this one down as well, carvacoral, it affects the neuron activity in the brain, basically giving you a feel-good boost, and I guess it just makes you feel really good. So that's why thyme is really great. And it's also a traditional, I think in medieval times they used to use thyme for a medicinal purpose for coughs and also bronchitis. Cauliflower is really great. It's got more vitamin C in it than blueberries, so if you can get your hands on a locally grown cauliflower, it's going to be very good for you at this time of year. It's also high in fibre and B vitamins as well, antioxidants, and also here's another one that I can't quite pronounce, phytonutrients. So it's compounds in plant and foods which have beneficial effects with promoting good health. It's also very good for your digestion, and it enhances your bones, and it helps with your learning and memory as well. I need to eat some of that because I keep writing all these big words down and can't quite remember them. So on to cooking it without further ado. To begin, we need butter, a large long stick of celery and half a white onion, and I've got 40 grams of butter here. So we want to put the heat on, get the 40 grams of butter. You can make this soup vegan, so later when I use some cow milk, you can also use an oat milk or a rice milk or almond, whatever your preference is, and some vegan butter instead. So 40 grams of butter into the pan, and then that large piece of celery stick. I actually went in and got the heart, the centre of the celery out, and used the larger part of the heart and sliced it very finely. And then half a small white onion, so kind of roughly about this amount. Wait for the butter to melt and stir them round, and we're just going to wait until they are gently cooked and nice and soft, but slightly golden as well. So as they're warming up nicely and cooking down, the next thing we'll need to prepare is the cauliflower, which I've already done so here, and we want to cut them into fairly small kind of florets. We need 400 grams of cauliflower, which I've got ready there. If you can get your hands on some Jerusalem artichokes, that's brilliant, and you will need 170 grams of that. I've gone for the turnip and parsnip. Other things such as normal artichoke, like artichoke hearts or water nut water chestnuts you can use as well. So they're for a little bit later. And fresh thyme, this is 20 grams worth, so I'm probably going to use a handful like this, about 8 grams roughly of fresh thyme that will pop in there. We will need a stock. You can use chicken stock, and I've gone for a vegetarian stock, so it's lots of herbs and garlic as well. And you will need 500 millilitres of stock. And milk, I've got a very fresh dairy delivery from just up the road, but same thing again, you can have oat, rice or almond milk, or if you want to help clear the throat and you're okay having dairy, goat or sheep milk is also good. And you will need 177 millilitres. So this recipe that I found, I've tweaked it a little bit, but it was an American recipe, all in cups. So I've changed it to grams and millilitres, so we can definitely get on with making it here in England. Unless you've got cups, I can write this down underneath the YouTube video, so if you prefer cups, you've got that option as well. So I'm just checking on the onion and celery, and it's cooking down quite nicely. I think it needs a little bit longer, which won't be too long. I'll just pop the lid on. In the meantime, I'm going to go and put the kettle on, because I want to also show you a really nice hot drink to have that will help with throat and cleanse the lung channel. This is my dried yarrow, so I'm just going to use, this is what it looks like. Yarrow is really good for your blood, so I put 2 large pieces in there, and I'm going to take a nice handful of fresh thyme, and I've got some off the boil water. Just going to fill that up in the teapot, leave it to steep whilst we finish cooking the soup. As you can see, the celery and the onions are starting to soften now, and they smell really good, nice and fresh. So I'll turn that, it was on a gentle heat, I'm just going to turn it up slightly. So now we're going to add the stock and the milk. So we've got 500 millilitres. I've gone for a veggie stock which I've pre-made. You can use a cube, or maybe you've cooked some veg the night before and you've got the water for it and you want to add a little bit more. You can also use chicken stock, which is very good for you if you have a cold as well. And milk. So I will use that jug. I'm going to use some cow milk, and I need 177 millilitres. I think that was like 2 cups, or no, 3/4 of a cup. So 177 millilitres. So I'll place that in with the stock as well. So it's a very white and clear soup. Now that's all added in, what we need to do is bring the temperature up, and we want to get this liquid to just boiling and then bring it down to a simmer. I'm going to put the lid on for now, and then once it's simmering we'll add our vegetables into that so they can cook on a nice simmer for about 10 minutes, roughly speaking, until soft and tender. In the meantime, I'm going to pour myself a yarrow and thyme refreshing tea. It's very hot, but I'll leave it there to sip whilst the soup's being made. I'm going to take the cauliflower, so that's the 400 grams of cauliflower. I'm going to place that in to the liquid. I'm also going to get the replacement of the Jerusalem artichoke, so the parsnip and the turnip, and that's 170 grams worth there. And not forgetting the wonderful medicinal herb used for clearing colds, coughs and helping to clear bronchitis. A good handful, I've gone for 8 grams, and I'm going to leave it on the stems because later, before we go and blitz it to make a smooth consistency of soup, you can leave it a chunkier veg soup if you prefer, but I like to have a smooth one on this. This one is what was recommended, and I'll remove the thyme stalks later. So I'll pop them in there, leave that actually a little longer than 10 minutes, probably nearer 20 to 30 minutes. So you want it on a simmer, not quite boiling, but you want the veg to be very tender and nicely cooked. So stirring that all in, I'll leave that a little while to do its thing, and we'll come back later when everything's cooked. Now all the veg have cooked really nicely and they're really tender but not overcooked. What we're going to do, I've left it to cool as well. I'm going to bring it over and place it in a blender to become smooth. So if you'd like a smooth soup, you can also use a hand blender, or maybe by manually mashing with potato masher. So I'm going to transfer bit by bit into the blender, and then afterwards placing the smooth soup back into the pan just to gently warm through before serving up. Smells really good, and I'm very happy to be trying this for the first time, and I hope you all enjoy it too. So there we are, is our gorgeous autumnal soup, really good for cleansing, clearing and boosting the lung and large intestine meridian. Just to finish, if you want, you can add some little seeds just to give a bit of difference in texture. And I've kept a few of the celery leaves to place on the top. And a little bit more tea, yarrow and thyme tea, to help cleanse the throat. There we have it. Enjoy and bon appetit.
How about that? Isn't she great? Yeah, no. So that was the last of a series of 5 Cat's Kitchens all the way through the season, and I hope you really enjoyed that. And thank you for all the messages. I actually had some chance to have a look at the chat while the video was going on, and it's lovely to have all the feedback. I'm glad you really enjoyed the exercise as well. I'm exactly the same as you. I feel so much better now. I really look forward to these Wednesday classes. And thank you, Basti, for looking after the chat in your tent with your wood burner. Awesome. So I just want to spend a minute just saying a big thank you to all of those that have joined our community and I've subscribed. So basically what's happening now as we're coming out of the pandemic is we're finding that the donations are really tailing off a lot now, and we're moving away from donations as a way of funding everything. So if you really like the exercises every week, if you're a member of New Energy Work, that's great, because it's a partnership between New Energy Work and the Shiatsu Centre and Shiatsu College, Norwich. It's kind of all our thing here. So so if you look at the email that comes with the recording after the event, you'll see a link where you can go to shiatsucollegenorwich.org, and you can see that you can sign up. And what that community membership gives you is access to all of these Wednesday classes. And also, in addition, we've got on our teaching weekends, we're actually live streaming the exercises on a Saturday morning, which will be themed on each of the weekends. And also Kat is doing a yoga class, a special exclusive yoga class on the Sunday morning of the teaching weekends from this room here. So if you'd like to do every now and then, once a month, to do a bit more with us and also join Kat's yoga class, then please join us as a community member. It'd be great to have you. And thank you for all of those who've already signed up. We've actually got 24 members already. and that really helps us keep going out of the pandemic. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the class as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'm going to put a big heart in the chat, and have a great week.